My stepdaughter ripped my dress at my China wedding anniversary. She had no idea about my revenge. I was standing in front of 200 guests at my 20th wedding anniversary party when I felt it. A sharp tug at the back of my dress. Then the unmistakable sound of fabric tearing. I turned around. My stepdaughter Vanessa was there, hand still extended. A look of fake shock on her face that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Oh my God, Claire! I'm so sorry! I just stepped on your dress. I didn't mean to, but I saw it." In that split second before she composed her expression, the satisfaction, the deliberate cruelty, the victory in her eyes. She'd ripped my dress on purpose, at my anniversary party, in front of everyone. My beautiful custom-made dress, the one I'd spent months planning, the centerpiece of this celebration, torn halfway up my back, exposing my slit beneath. People gasped. Cameras flashed. My husband Marcus rushed over, and Vanessa stood there playing innocent, apologizing profusely, making it look like an accident. But it wasn't an accident, and she had no idea what I was about to do. My name is Claire Bennett. I'm 52 years old. I've been married to Marcus for 20 years. I've been Vanessa's stepmother since she was 8. And at my China anniversary celebration, the party I'd planned for months, the dress I'd custom ordered, the moment that was supposed to be perfect, she deliberately destroyed it all. So I destroyed something of hers. Something she valued more than anything. This is the story of calculated revenge, of patience, of making someone regret crossing you. Let me start at the beginning, so you understand how we got here. I met Marcus 21 years ago. He was 40, recently widowed. His wife Angela had died in a car accident a year earlier. He had one daughter, Vanessa, then 7 years old. We met at a work conference. Marcus was grieving but trying to move forward. We connected, started talking. He was kind, intelligent, still healing. We dated for a year before he introduced me to Vanessa. She was 8 by then, still missing her mother, still raw, with grief. "This is Claire," Marcus told her. "She's someone very special to me." Vanessa looked at me with Angela's eyes. I'd seen photos, and said nothing, just stared, evaluating, judging. "Hi, Vanessa," I said warmly. "Your dad's told me so much about you." She turned to Marcus. "Can we go now?" That set the tone for the next 20 years. Marcus and I got married when Vanessa was 9. She didn't want me at the wedding. Told Marcus I was replacing Mom. He explained patiently that I wasn't replacing anyone, that he'd always love Angela, but that he loved me too. Vanessa didn't accept it, refused to be in the wedding party, sat in the front row with a stone face, made it clear she was there under protest. After the wedding, Vanessa lived with us half the time. Marcus had shared custody with Angela's parents, who'd petitioned for visitation rights. When she was with us, she was cold to me, polite but distant. Made it clear I was tolerated, not accepted. I tried everything, asked about her interests, attended her school events, cooked her favorite meals. Nothing worked. She maintained that wall. Sometimes I'd catch her looking at me with something like contempt, like I was an intruder who'd stolen her father. "Give her time," Marcus always said. "She's grieving." I gave her time. Years of it. Stayed patient. Stayed kind. Stayed hopeful that eventually she'd warm up. She never did. At 16, Vanessa decided to live full-time with Angela's parents. Said she felt more at home there. Marcus was heartbroken, but didn't fight it. Wanted her to be happy. I was relieved, honestly. Years of coldness and rejection had worn me down. Having her gone meant peace in my own home. She'd visit occasionally. Holidays, birthdays, always polite, always distant, always making it clear she was there for Marcus, not for me. At 18, she went to college. We saw her even less. She'd come home for Christmas, maybe Thanksgiving, always at Angela's parents' house, where she now considered home. We were secondary. Throughout all this, I built a life with Marcus. A good life. We traveled, renovated the house, hosted dinner parties, had couple friends, created a world that was ours. Vanessa was part of Marcus's life, but not really part of mine. She graduated college, got engaged at 24 to a man named Derek. Nice enough guy. They planned a wedding. Vanessa consulted Marcus about everything: the venue, the menu, the guest list. Me? I was told where to sit, what to wear, when to arrive. I helped pay for the wedding. Marcus and I shared finances. But Vanessa never acknowledged that, never thanked me, just took the money and planned her perfect day with Angela's parents playing the proud family. At the wedding, Angela's parents sat in the front row. Marcus and I sat in the third row, behind Angela's siblings. The message was clear. You're not family. You're dad's +1. Fine. I'd accepted years ago that Vanessa would never see me as family. I'd made peace with it. But then came this year, our 20th anniversary. 20 years is China. It's a milestone. Marcus and I wanted to celebrate. Do something special. Let's throw a party, I suggested. A real celebration. Big, beautiful, all our friends. Make it memorable. Marcus loved the idea. We planned for months, rented an elegant venue, hired caterers, created a guest list of 200 people, our friends, our community, our life together. I found the perfect dress, custom made, ivory silk with delicate beading, elegant, sophisticated. The dress I'd wear for photos that would commemorate 20 years of marriage. I was so excited. 2 weeks before the party, Vanessa called Marcus. Derek and I want to come to the anniversary party. Marcus was thrilled. Of course, we'd love to have you both. Great, we'll be there. No congratulations to me. No happy anniversary, Claire. Just informing Marcus they'd attend. Whatever. I didn't need her approval. This was my day. Mine and Marcus's. The night of the party arrived. The venue looked perfect. Flowers everywhere. Elegant place settings. A photo backdrop for guests. Everything I'd dreamed of. I got ready carefully. Hair professionally styled. Makeup perfect. And the dress. God, the dress was beautiful. Fit perfectly. Made me feel elegant and special and worthy of this celebration. Marcus saw me and his eyes filled with tears. You're stunning. 20 years, I said. Best 20 years of my life. We arrived at the venue. Guests were already mingling, complimenting the decorations, congratulating us. Vanessa and Derek arrived an hour late. She was wearing white. Not ivory, not cream, pure white. To someone else's anniversary party. The audacity was stunning, but I didn't react. Didn't give her the satisfaction. Just smiled and greeted them politely. Happy anniversary, she said to Marcus. Not to me, just Marcus. Derek at least said, congratulations to both of you. The party was wonderful. Toasts, dancing, laughter, our friends celebrating us. Celebrating 20 years. I was standing near the photo backdrop talking to friends when Vanessa approached. That's a beautiful dress, she said. Her tone was odd, almost mocking. Thank you, I replied carefully. Expensive? It was custom made. Wow, must be nice. There was something in her voice. Something I couldn't place, but I ignored it, turned back to my conversation. That's when I felt it. The tug. The rip. I spun around. Vanessa was right there. Hand still extended. Eyes wide with fake shock. Oh my God, Claire. I'm so sorry. I just stepped on your dress. I didn't mean to, but I saw it. That flash of satisfaction before the fake shock. The deliberate movement. The intentional cruelty. She'd grabbed my dress and pulled. Hard. Ripped it halfway up the back seam. Exposed my slip. Ruined it. People gasped. Phones came out. Photos were being taken of me standing there in a torn dress at my own anniversary party. Marcus rushed over. What happened? I stepped on Claire's dress, Vanessa said, her voice full of concern. It was an accident. I feel terrible. An accident. She was calling it an accident. I stood there, feeling the cold air on my exposed back, seeing the pity and shock on guests' faces, and something in me went ice cold. This wasn't grief. This wasn't awkwardness. This was deliberate sabotage. It's fine, I said calmly. Too calmly. Accidents happen. I excused myself, went to the bathroom. One of my friends came with me, helped me pin the dress together enough to get through the rest of the party. That wasn't an accident, she whispered. I know, I said. What are you going to do? I don't know yet. I went back to the party, smiled through the rest of the evening, danced with Marcus, cut the cake, pretended everything was fine. But inside, I was calculating, planning. deciding exactly how I was going to make Vanessa regret what she'd done. If you've ever been deliberately sabotaged at your own event, had someone destroy something important to you out of spite, ruined your moment out of jealousy, you know this rage, this cold, calculating fury. Share your experience in the comments. And if these stories of justice served resonate with you, please subscribe to Lindsay Stories. After the party, Marcus tried to comfort me. "I'm so sorry about your dress, honey. It was an accident, but still, it wasn't an accident." He looked surprised. "What do you mean?" "She did it on purpose, Marcus. I saw her face before she composed herself. She grabbed my dress and ripped it deliberately." "Claire, I know you and Vanessa don't have a great relationship, but that's a serious accusation." "I know what I saw." She apologized. She seemed genuinely sorry. She seemed like she was performing sorry. There's a difference. Marcus sighed. "Even if it was deliberate, which I'm not convinced it was, what can we do? The dress is ruined. The party's over. Let's just move on." Move on. Like it didn't matter that his daughter had sabotaged my anniversary. "Fine," I said. "We'll move on." But I wasn't moving on. I was planning. Over the next few days, I researched. Found out that Vanessa and Derek were planning a big trip. Their 5th wedding anniversary was coming up in 3 months. They'd booked a luxury resort in the Maldives. 2 weeks. All-inclusive, expensive. Vanessa had been posting about it on social media for months, counting down, sharing resort photos, talking about how she deserved this trip after years of hard work. It was her dream vacation, the thing she'd been most excited about all year. Perfect. I started making calls, used some connections from my work in event planning, found out which resort, which dates, which room type. Then I made more calls. To the resort, to their travel agent, to their airline, and I set my plan in motion. 2 weeks before their trip, Vanessa started posting about packing, about counting down days, about how excited she was. 1 week before, she posted photos of her new vacation wardrobe, expensive swimsuits, designer cover-ups, everything perfectly curated for Instagram. 3 days before their departure, I made the final call. The morning of their flight, Vanessa called Marcus, crying. "Dad, something terrible happened. Our trip is canceled." "What? Why?" "The resort says there was a problem with our booking. They're saying we never confirmed. But we did. We have emails, but now they're fully booked and can't accommodate us." "That's terrible, sweetheart. Can you get a refund?" "The travel agent is trying, but there are cancellation fees. We might lose thousands of dollars, and our flights are non-refundable. And I took time off work." She was sobbing, genuinely devastated. Marcus was sympathetic, tried to help problem solve, suggested backup resorts, offered to help pay fees. I sat there listening, feeling absolutely nothing but cold satisfaction, because I knew exactly what had happened. I'd made it happen. Through my connections, I'd contacted the resort, explained there was a discrepancy in the Bennett-Derrick reservation, suggested they double-check confirmation, implied there might be issues with payment. The resort, being cautious, had flagged the reservation, reached out for verification, and in the back and forth, the dates had gotten confused. By the time it was sorted out, the resort was, unfortunately, fully booked for those dates. All perfectly plausible, all untraceable to me, all devastating to Vanessa. Her dream vacation, gone. Marcus got off the phone with Vanessa. "That's awful. I feel terrible for her. That's so unfortunate," I said sympathetically. "She was really looking forward to that trip. She's heartbroken. Says it was the thing she'd been most excited about all year." Kind of like how my anniversary dress was something I'd been excited about and planning for months, and it got ruined. Marcus looked at me sharply. "Are you saying—" "I'm just saying it's unfortunate when something you're excited about gets destroyed, isn't it?" He stared at me. "Claire, did you do something?" "Me? How could I possibly cancel their vacation? I don't even know which resort they booked." "You work in event planning. You have connections." "I have connections for local venues, not international resorts. Besides, why would I do something like that?" "Revenge. For the dress. The dress that was destroyed accidentally? Why would I take revenge for an accident?" He couldn't answer that. Because if he admitted the dress wasn't an accident, he'd have to acknowledge his daughter had deliberately sabotaged me. This is a crazy coincidence, he said finally. Yes, it is. Just like it was a crazy coincidence that Vanessa stepped on my dress at exactly the right angle to rip it completely. Coincidences happen. Marcus couldn't prove anything, and I wasn't admitting anything. Over the next few days, Vanessa posted sad updates about the canceled trip, about losing money, about her ruined anniversary plans. Her friends commented with sympathy. That's awful. How did this happen? Can you rebook? No, she couldn't rebook. The resort was booked solid for the next 6 months, and their budget was blown on non-refundable fees. Her 5th anniversary, the one she'd been planning and posting about for months, was ruined, just like my 20th anniversary had been ruined. Perfect symmetry. Marcus suspected, of course, but he couldn't prove anything, and I maintained absolute innocence. These things happen, I'd say. Technology errors, booking mistakes. Very unfortunate. A month later, Vanessa came over for dinner. She looked tired, defeated. How are you doing? Marcus asked gently. Okay, still upset about the trip. Derek and I tried to plan something else, but everything we could afford was not the same. I'm sorry, sweetheart. She looked at me. Claire, you work in events. Do you know how something like this could happen? How a confirmed reservation could just disappear? I met her eyes. Let her see nothing. Systems glitch sometimes. Could have been a computer error, or miscommunication between the resort and the booking agent. These things happen, unfortunately. It just seems so targeted. Targeted? How could a resort booking error be targeted? I don't know. It just feels wrong. Well, sometimes things go wrong. Like when my dress got torn. That felt pretty wrong too. But we move on, don't we? Her eyes narrowed. She knew, or suspected, but she couldn't prove it any more than Marcus could. Yes, she said slowly. We move on. But the message had been sent. And received. You sabotage my important day? I'll sabotage yours. You ruin something I've planned for months. I'll ruin something you've planned for months. Eye for an eye. Dress for a vacation. 3 months later, Vanessa came over again. She'd barely visited since the trip cancellation. She pulled me aside, away from Marcus. I know what you did, she said quietly. I don't know what you mean. The Maldives, the resort. You made that happen. That's quite an accusation. Do you have any proof? No, but I know it was you. If you're so certain, tell Marcus. File a complaint. Do something about it. I can't prove it. Then maybe it didn't happen. Maybe your resort booking just had an unfortunate error. These things happen. Like dresses tearing at anniversary parties. Accidents, right? She looked at me with something new. Not contempt. Not coldness. Fear. Why did you do it? I didn't do anything. But hypothetically, if someone had done something to you, maybe they'd been patient for 20 years. Maybe they'd tried to be kind and accommodating and understanding. Maybe they'd accepted coldness and rejection and disrespect. And maybe finally, they'd had enough. Maybe when that person sabotaged something important, they decided enough was enough. It was an accident. I stepped on your dress. Was it? Because I saw your face. That split second before you composed yourself. I saw the satisfaction, the deliberate cruelty. She opened her mouth, closed it, couldn't deny it. You've hated me for 20 years, I continued. Fine, I accepted that. But you crossed a line when you deliberately destroyed my dress at my anniversary party. You humiliated me in front of 200 people. You ruined a moment I'd been planning for months. So if someone, hypothetically, ruined your vacation that you'd been planning for months, maybe they were just showing you how it feels. Maybe they were teaching you that actions have consequences. That's psychotic. Is it? Or is it justice? You destroyed something I valued. So something you valued got destroyed. Seems fair to me. She stared at me. I'll tell Dad. Tell him what? That you think I somehow canceled your vacation through my event planning connections? Go ahead. He already suspects. But there's no proof. Just like there's no proof you deliberately ripped my dress. Just your word against mine. He'll believe me. Will he? Or will he think his daughter is making excuses for a booking error? Being paranoid? Blaming her stepmother for something beyond anyone's control? She knew I was right. There was nothing she could do. Stay away from me, she said finally. Gladly. But Vanessa, let this be a lesson. You can hate me all you want. You can keep your distance. You can refuse to see me as family. That's your right. But if you ever try to sabotage me again, if you ever deliberately try to hurt me again, the consequences will be worse. Much worse. Do we understand each other? She nodded, left quickly, didn't stay for dinner. Marcus asked what we'd talked about. Just clearing the air, I said. I think we understand each other now. Vanessa barely visited after that. Holidays only. Always polite, always careful, never warm, but never hostile either. She'd learned her lesson. You don't cross Claire Bennett without consequences. 6 months after the Maldives disaster, Vanessa posted photos from a modest beach weekend she and Derek had taken. Nothing like the luxury resort she'd planned, but she was trying to move on. Good for her. I never admitted what I'd done, not to Marcus, not to anyone. Plausible deniability forever. But I know, and Vanessa knows, and that's enough. My name is Claire Bennett. I'm 52 years old. At my 20th wedding anniversary party, my stepdaughter deliberately ripped my expensive custom dress in front of 200 people. So I canceled her dream vacation to the Maldives, destroyed her 5th anniversary plans, made her lose thousands of dollars. Was it petty? Maybe. Was it justified? Absolutely. She'd spent 20 years making it clear I wasn't family. Fine. I accepted that. But the moment she crossed from cold rejection into active sabotage, she made herself my enemy. And I treat my enemies accordingly. Some people might say I should have been the bigger person, forgiven her, moved on. But why? Why should I absorb her cruelty and do nothing? Why should I let her destroy something important to me without consequences? I tried being understanding for 20 years, tried being patient, tried being kind, and she repaid that with deliberate sabotage at my anniversary. So I showed her what happens when you cross me. I showed her that patience has limits, that kindness doesn't mean weakness, that I'm capable of calculated revenge when provoked. And now she knows. Now she's careful. Now she understands that I'm not someone to be trifled with. The dress is gone, can't be fixed. But her vacation is gone too, can't be rebooked. We're even. And she'll think twice before crossing me again. That's everything. What I haven't fully explained yet is the planning. The meticulous, careful planning that went into destroying Vanessa's vacation. Because revenge isn't just about hurting someone back. It's about making sure they understand exactly why it's happening, while never being able to prove it was you. The day after the anniversary party, I sat in my home office and made a list. Not a physical list, I'm not stupid, but a mental catalog of everything I knew about Vanessa's upcoming trip. She'd been posting about it for months. Every detail, the resort name, the dates, the room category, the excursions she'd booked, the restaurants she planned to visit. She'd made it easy, really, given me everything I needed to know. But knowing wasn't enough. I needed access. I needed leverage. I needed a way to make it all fall apart that couldn't be traced back to me. That's where my job came in handy. I've been an event planner for 25 years. High-end corporate events, luxury weddings, celebrity parties. Over 2 decades, I've built a network. Vendors, venues, hotels, travel agents, people who owe me favors, people who trust me. One call to a colleague who specialized in destination events. Hey Sarah, random question. Do you know anyone who works with that new resort in the Maldives? The one that just opened last year? Oh, the Amara? Yeah, I know their events coordinator. We worked together on a wedding there 6 months ago. Why? Just curious. Client asking about destination options. Wanted to know if it's reputable. Very. High-end. Excellent service. Want me to intro you to Elena? That would be great, thanks. Simple. Professional. Nothing suspicious. Elena and I connected. Talked about potential events. Built rapport. Mentioned I might have corporate clients interested in booking their retreat spaces. We'd love to work with you, Elena said. Let me get you on our preferred vendors list. Send me your company info. Just like that, I had a contact at Vanessa's resort. Someone who knew my name, trusted me, saw me as a professional colleague. 2 weeks later, I made another call, this time to Elena directly. Hi, Elena, this is awkward, but I need to ask you something. I have a family member, my stepdaughter actually, who's booked a stay at your resort. I'm trying to plan a surprise for her anniversary, but I need to confirm her dates first. Can you help me with that? Of course, what's the name? Vanessa Sterling. She booked under Derek Sterling, her husband. Let me check. Yes, here it is. November 15th through 29th. Ocean Villa. Perfect. Thank you so much. Happy to help. What kind of surprise were you thinking? Oh, maybe champagne in the room. I'm still figuring it out. I'll let you know. Sounds lovely. Let me know if you need anything. I had confirmation. Direct access to their booking information. A legitimate reason to be asking about it. Now came the delicate part. A week later, I called Elena again. Hi, I'm so sorry to bother you, but I just got off the phone with Vanessa, and she mentioned something about dates possibly changing. I wanted to check with you before I plan anything. Is her reservation still November 15th? Let me look. That's odd. I'm showing some notes here about a potential date change inquiry. Let me check with our reservations team and get back to you. Please do. I don't want to plan a surprise if the dates aren't confirmed. Elena called back 2 days later. Claire, I'm so sorry for the confusion. Our team had flagged the Sterling reservation due to some payment verification questions. Just routine. But it looks like it created some uncertainty about the dates. Payment verification? Is there a problem? Probably not. Sometimes our system flags international credit cards for additional verification, but it does mean we need to reach out to confirm the booking. Should I tell Vanessa to expect a call? Actually, it might be better if you didn't mention it. We don't want to worry her unnecessarily. Our team will reach out directly to confirm everything's fine. Okay, thanks for letting me know. Perfect. I'd planted the seed, made it seem like a routine issue. The resort would now contact Vanessa to verify her booking, creating confusion. But I wasn't done. I waited another week. Let the resort's verification process play out. Then I made one more call. Not to Elena this time. To the general reservations line. Hi, I'm calling on behalf of Vanessa Sterling. She received a call about payment verification for her November booking, and she's confused because she already confirmed everything. Can you help clarify? Let me pull up that reservation. Sterling, Derek, and Vanessa. November. Oh, I see the issue. The verification created a temporary hold on the dates. Let me just remove that and confirm the booking. Actually, wait. Vanessa mentioned she might need to adjust the dates anyway. Can you check availability for a week earlier? Let me see. November 8th through 22nd? I'm sorry. We're fully booked for those dates. What about a week later? Also fully booked. We're in high season right now. Very limited availability. Vanessa's going to be disappointed. What happens if she can't confirm the original date soon? Well, the hold is temporary. If we don't get confirmation within 48 hours, the system will automatically release the reservation to avoid blocking inventory. 48 hours? That seems fast. It's policy during high season. We have a long wait list. Okay, I'll tell Vanessa to call and confirm immediately. But I didn't tell Vanessa anything. Instead, I waited. Let the 48 hours pass. Let the system automatically release the reservation, just like the agent had said it would. 3 days later, Vanessa would have received an email. We're sorry, but due to non-confirmation, your reservation has been canceled. We've attempted to reach you multiple times without response. The resort had tried to call, probably left voicemails, sent emails, but they were going through standard channels. By the time Vanessa saw the messages and responded, the dates were gone, booked by someone on the wait list. And here's the beautiful part. I'd never touched the reservation directly, never canceled anything, never made any changes. I'd simply created confusion, asked questions, mentioned possible date changes, planted enough uncertainty that the resort's own systems did the work for me, all completely untraceable, all perfectly plausible as a series of miscommunications. When Vanessa called the resort frantically the morning of her flight, because she'd been too busy packing and preparing to notice the emails, they were sympathetic, but firm. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Sterling. We attempted to reach you several times for confirmation. When we didn't hear back, the system automatically released your reservation per our policy. But I never got any calls. We called the number on file, left 3 voicemails. I didn't get them. Perhaps they went to spam? It happens sometimes. I'm terribly sorry, but we're now fully booked. We can put you on the wait list for cancellations, but during high season, it's unlikely. Devastating. Complete. Perfect. And all I'd done was ask a few questions, plant some confusion, and let the resort's own policies do the rest. When Marcus told me about Vanessa's canceled trip, I had to work hard not to smile. That's terrible. How could something like that happen? She says they never contacted her. Maybe it went to spam? You know how email filters can be. She says they called too, left voicemails. On what number? Maybe they had the wrong one. No, it was right. She checked. Weird. Maybe her phone was having issues? I've had calls go straight to voicemail before without ringing. Every question designed to make the resort's story more plausible. To reinforce that this was a technical error, not sabotage. To make it impossible for anyone to suspect my involvement. Marcus couldn't argue with technical glitches, phone issues, email spam filters. These things happened. Unfortunate but explainable. What I didn't tell Marcus, what I'll never tell anyone, is that I'd also called the resort from a burner phone a week earlier, claiming to be Vanessa's assistant, asking about potential date changes for the Sterling reservation. I'd created a paper trail of confusion, made it look like Vanessa herself had been uncertain about her dates, given the resort legitimate reason to think verification was needed. All untraceable, all deniable, all perfectly legal. The best revenge is the kind nobody can prove. After the confrontation with Vanessa, when she accused me privately of destroying her vacation, I spent some time thinking about whether I'd crossed a line. Was it excessive? Destroying a vacation that cost thousands of dollars over a dress? But then I'd remember, it wasn't just a dress. It was my 20th anniversary, a milestone celebration, something I'd planned for months. The dress was custom-made, yes, but it represented something bigger. It represented 20 years with Marcus, 20 years of building a life together, 20 years of trying to include Vanessa, of being patient with her rejection, of accepting her coldness, and she'd deliberately destroyed it, not in private, in front of 200 people, with cameras, creating a moment of public humiliation that I could never take back. Photos of me with a torn dress had circulated on social media. Friends had seen me exposed, diminished, embarrassed at my own celebration. That wasn't just about the dress. That was about power, about Vanessa asserting dominance, about her showing everyone that even at my own party, she could hurt me and get away with it. So no, I didn't cross a line. I responded proportionally. She destroyed my anniversary. I destroyed hers. She humiliated me publicly. I let her face the private humiliation of explaining to friends why her dream vacation was canceled. She made me lose something I'd invested time and money into. I made her lose the same. Eye for an eye. Measure for measure. Justice. 3 months after Vanessa's canceled vacation, Marcus brought up the possibility of family therapy. I think we all need to talk, he said carefully. You and Vanessa have tension. Always have. But it seems worse since the anniversary. Does it? I asked innocently. She barely comes over anymore. When she does, she's uncomfortable. And you're different with her. How am I different? Colder. More distant. Like you're waiting for something. He wasn't wrong. I was colder. Because I'd finally stopped trying. Stopped hoping Vanessa would warm up. Stopped pretending we'd ever have a relationship. I'd accepted what Vanessa had been telling me for 20 years. We weren't family. We never would be. And I was done pretending otherwise. Marcus, I've tried for 20 years to connect with Vanessa, to be patient, to be understanding. And she's made it clear she wants nothing to do with me. I've finally accepted that. Is that so bad? No, but I'd hoped eventually you two would find common ground. Maybe we have. She knows I won't be crossed. I know she won't accept me. That's our common ground. Mutual understanding. That sounds hostile. No, it's honest. She doesn't have to love me. I don't have to keep trying to earn love that's never coming. We can be civil, respectful, distant. That's enough. Marcus wasn't happy about it. But what could he do? Force us into therapy? Make us pretend to bond? He'd enabled Vanessa's rejection of me for 20 years. Told me to be patient, to give her time, to understand her grief. Well, I'd been patient. I'd given her time. I'd understood. And she'd repaid that by destroying my dress at my anniversary. So now we had a new normal. Vanessa visited rarely. I was polite when she did. We maintained civil distance. No warmth, but no open hostility either. It was, honestly, Better than the years of me trying and her rejecting. At least now I wasn't setting myself up for disappointment. 6 months after the Maldives disaster, Derek called Marcus. "Vanessa and I are expecting. We're going to have a baby." Marcus was overjoyed. "That's wonderful. Congratulations." I said all the right things. Congratulated them. Expressed happiness. Meant none of it. Not because I wished them ill, but because I knew what was coming. Vanessa would want Marcus involved. Want him at the baby shower, at the birth, playing doting grandfather. And I'd be the wife he brought along. Acknowledged, but not included. Tolerated, but not welcomed. Sure enough, when Vanessa threw a baby shower, Marcus was invited. I was told I could come if I wanted. "Do you want to go?" Marcus asked. "Do you want me to?" "I want to support my daughter, but I also want you to feel comfortable. I'll go, but I'm not pretending this is some warm family moment. I'll show up, be polite, and leave early." The shower was at Angela's parents' house. Angela's mother, Sandra, had organized everything. Vanessa's friends filled the house. Angela's family played host. I was introduced as Marcus's wife, not Vanessa's stepmother, not the baby's grandmother, just Marcus's wife. Fine. I knew my role. I brought a gift, something expensive and thoughtful. Not because I cared about earning Vanessa's approval. I'd given up on that. But because I wanted to make it clear I could be generous without seeking warmth in return. Vanessa opened it in front of everyone. "Oh, thank you, Claire. This is nice. Nice." The gift cost $600, but it was nice. I smiled, said nothing, ate my cake and left after an hour. Marcus stayed longer, played the proud grandfather-to-be, bonded with Vanessa and Derek and Angela's family. When he got home, he was quiet. "You okay?" I asked. "I wish things were different. Between you and Vanessa. They are what they are. But the baby, don't you want to be part of their life? Marcus, be honest. What role do you think I'll have in that child's life? Vanessa barely tolerates me. Do you really think she's going to welcome me as grandmother? She might change. Once the baby's born. She won't. And I'm done hoping she will. That baby will have Marcus as grandfather. Angela's parents as grandparents. That's their family. I'm just your wife. And that's fine." He looked sad, but he didn't argue, because deep down he knew I was right. The baby was born in May, a girl. They named her Angela, after Vanessa's dead mother. The symbolism wasn't lost on me. Marcus was at the hospital, held baby Angela, cried, took photos. I wasn't there, wasn't invited. Found out about the birth when Marcus texted me. "It's a girl, Angela. Everyone's healthy. Everyone, but not me." I wasn't everyone. Over the next year, Marcus visited Vanessa and baby Angela regularly, sometimes once a week. He'd bring gifts, play with the baby, be the doting grandfather. I never went with him, never offered. Knew I wasn't wanted. "Don't you want to meet Angela?" He'd ask sometimes. If Vanessa wanted me to meet her, she'd invite me. "She says you're welcome to come." She says I'm welcome, or you told her to say that. Silence. He couldn't answer because we both knew the truth. When Angela was 6 months old, Vanessa had a small birthday party. "Close family only," Marcus told me. "Am I invited?" "Vanessa says you can come if you want." "That's not an invitation. That's permission. There's a difference." "Claire, Marcus, I'm tired of pushing myself into spaces where I'm not wanted. If Vanessa genuinely wants me there, she can call me directly and invite me. Until then, I'll assume I'm not invited." Vanessa never called. I didn't go. Marcus went alone. And that became our pattern. Marcus maintained his relationship with Vanessa and Angela. I maintained my distance. We never discussed it beyond logistics. When he'd be gone, whether he needed a gift to bring. It was peaceful, actually. No more trying. No more rejection. No more disappointment. Just acceptance of what had always been true. I was not, and would never be, family to Vanessa. 2 years after baby Angela's birth, something shifted. Vanessa reached out to Marcus about a problem. Derek had lost his job. They were struggling financially. Could Marcus help? Marcus wanted to. Of course he did. They need money for their mortgage payment, just to get through the next few months. How much? $8,000. I didn't react. Didn't say the obvious. That's how much they'd lost on the canceled Maldives trip. Karma, perhaps. "It's your money. I said. We have separate finances for your personal spending. If you want to help Vanessa, help her. You don't object? Why would I? She's your daughter. You're allowed to help her. He wrote the check. Vanessa thanked him profusely, sent a card, addressed to Dad, not to both of us. Even though our shared finances meant some of that money was mine, just to Dad. Whatever. I was used to it. But here's what happened next. Derek got a new job. A good one. Better than before. Within 3 months, they were stable again, and Vanessa never paid Marcus back. Never mentioned it. Just accepted the money as her due, because fathers help their daughters, right? Marcus didn't seem to expect repayment, didn't mention it, was just happy Vanessa was okay. But I remembered, added it to the mental ledger, not because I planned to do anything about it, but because it reinforced what I'd always known. To Vanessa, Marcus was ATM dad, provider, required to help without expectation of thanks or repayment. And I was nobody, not even worth acknowledging when the money came from shared finances. Fine, at least I knew where I stood. Last year, on our 25th wedding anniversary, Silver, Marcus wanted to do something big again. Maybe not a huge party, he said carefully. After what happened last time, you mean after Vanessa ripped my dress? He winced. He hated when I said it plainly. Preferred to think of it as an accident. Even now, even 5 years later, I don't want any drama, he said. Then let's do something private. Just us. A nice dinner, maybe a weekend away. He looked relieved. That sounds perfect. We went to Napa, stayed at a beautiful resort, had wine tastings and spa treatments and romantic dinners. Just the two of us. It was perfect. No drama, no Vanessa, no sabotage. Marcus posted one photo on social media. Us at dinner, glasses raised, celebrating 25 years. Vanessa commented, "Congrats, Dad." Not, "Congrats to both of you." Just, "Dad." 5 years after the dress incident, and she still couldn't acknowledge me. But I didn't care anymore. Her approval or acknowledgement meant nothing to me. I'd built a life with Marcus that didn't require her participation. She could keep her distance, keep her coldness, keep her family separate from ours, and I'd keep my power, my position as Marcus's wife, my ability to exact consequences if anyone crossed me. The dress was 5 years ago. The Maldives revenge was 4.5 years behind us. But Vanessa remembered. I saw it sometimes when she looked at me, that wariness, that careful respect that came not from love but from fear. She'd learned her lesson, learned that I wasn't the patient, accommodating stepmother anymore, that I had limits, that I could hurt her back, and she never crossed me again. Sometimes, late at night, I'd think about that anniversary party, about the moment I felt my dress rip, about seeing the satisfaction in Vanessa's eyes. And then I'd think about her crying on the phone to Marcus about her canceled vacation, about her losing thousands of dollars, about her dreams being crushed, and I'd feel nothing, no guilt, no regret, just satisfaction. She'd earned it, every bit of it. You don't get to spend 20 years rejecting someone, then actively sabotage them, and walk away unscathed. I gave her 20 years of patience, of trying, of understanding, and when that wasn't enough, when she chose cruelty over indifference, I showed her exactly who she was dealing with. Not a doormat, not a woman to be dismissed or destroyed, but someone with power, with connections, with the ability to make her regret her actions. That's the lesson. That's what she learned. And it's a lesson she'll never forget. My name is Claire Bennett. I'm 57 now. 5 years ago, my stepdaughter ripped my dress at my anniversary party. I destroyed her vacation in return. Some might call it petty, vindictive, excessive. I call it justice. Because sometimes the only way to teach someone that you matter, that you have power, that you deserve respect, is to make them feel exactly what they made you feel. Humiliated? Check. Financially hurt? Check. Publicly diminished? Check. Dreams crushed? Check. Everything she did to me, I did to her. Fair's fair. And now we have an understanding. She keeps her distance. I keep my power. She doesn't cross me. I don't cross her. It's not love. It's not family. But it's peace. And after 25 years of trying to be family with someone who didn't want it, peace is enough. The dress is gone. The anniversary moment is gone. But she knows, will always know, that I'm not to be trifled with. That's worth more than any custom dress. Share this if you've ever gotten revenge on someone who sabotaged you. Comment if you've had to teach someone not to cross you. Subscribe to Lindsay Stories for more stories of justice served. My dress, her vacation, equal exchange, and a lesson learned. That's everything. Before I close this story, there are some truths about revenge that need to be said. Truths I learned through this experience. Truths that might help someone else decide whether to strike back or turn the other cheek. The first truth: not all revenge is created equal. There's hot revenge, the kind you do in anger, immediately, without thinking. Screaming matches, thrown objects, public scenes. That kind of revenge feels good in the moment but often backfires. Makes you look unstable, gives the other person ammunition, creates drama that hurts you as much as them. Then there's cold revenge. Calculated, planned, executed with precision. The kind where you smile and wait and plot. Where you make it look like bad luck or coincidence. Where you can never be proven guilty but the target knows exactly who did it. That's what I did. Cold revenge. Strategic. Untraceable. Perfect. Hot revenge would have been confronting Vanessa at the party. Screaming at her. Making a scene. But that would have made me look crazy. Made her look like a victim. Instead, I stayed calm. Thanked her for her apology. Finished the party with grace. And then, quietly, methodically, destroyed something she cared about just as much as I'd cared about my dress and anniversary. Cold revenge is powerful because it sends a message. I'm not impulsive. I'm not emotional. I'm strategic. And that makes me dangerous. Vanessa learned that I don't react in the moment. I plan. I wait. I strike when you think you've gotten away with it. That's far scarier than someone who yells and throws things. The second truth: revenge only works if the other person knows it's revenge. If Vanessa had genuinely thought her vacation cancellation was a random booking error, there'd be no satisfaction, no lesson learned, no point. But our private confrontation, where I made it clear without explicitly admitting anything, that's what made it work. She knew. She couldn't prove it. She couldn't tell Marcus or anyone else without sounding paranoid. But she knew, and that knowledge changed her behavior, made her cautious around me, made her think twice before pulling anything again. If she'd remained oblivious, thinking it was just bad luck, nothing would have changed. She'd still feel emboldened, still think she could cross me without consequence. The confrontation was necessary, letting her know, without saying it outright, that I'd done it, that it was deliberate, that it was payback. That's what made it effective. The third truth: sometimes being the bigger person means standing up for yourself. People love to preach forgiveness. Be the bigger person. Turn the other cheek. Don't sink to their level. But what does that actually mean? That you absorb cruelty and do nothing? That you let people hurt you without consequence? That you teach them through inaction that you're a safe target? That's not being bigger. That's being a doormat. Being the bigger person sometimes means having the strength to defend yourself, to draw boundaries, to show that actions have consequences. I was the bigger person for 20 years, patient with Vanessa's rejection, understanding about her grief, accommodating of her coldness. And she repaid that by destroying my anniversary. Continuing to absorb her cruelty wouldn't have been noble. It would have been stupid. Real strength isn't letting people hurt you. It's making sure they understand that hurting you comes at a cost. The fourth truth: revenge isn't about being petty. It's about being clear. People call revenge petty, small, vindictive, but strategic revenge isn't any of those things. It's communication. Clear, unmistakable communication that says, this is the line. You crossed it. Here are the consequences. Vanessa needed that clarity. For 20 years, she'd operated under the assumption that she could treat me however she wanted without repercussions. Reject me? Fine. Ignore me? Okay. Actively sabotage me? Still no consequences. Until there were. The Maldives cancellation wasn't petty retaliation. It was a clear message. I have power. I have limits. Cross them and you'll regret it. That message got through. After the confrontation, Vanessa's behavior changed. Not because she suddenly loved me or saw me as family. but because she understood I wasn't someone to mess with. Clarity, boundaries, consequences. That's not petty, that's necessary. The fifth truth: you have to be willing to accept the relationship change. Revenge changes things. Always. Even when it's justified, even when it's strategic, even when it works perfectly, it changes the dynamic permanently. Before the Maldives, Vanessa and I had a cold but manageable relationship. She ignored me. I tried to connect. There was hope, however faint, that maybe someday things would improve. After the Maldives, that hope was gone. We both knew we were adversaries. Polite adversaries, careful adversaries, but adversaries nonetheless. I had to accept that. Had to let go of any fantasy that we'd ever be close. Had to embrace a relationship built on mutual wariness instead of mutual affection. Some people might say that's sad, that I should have prioritized the relationship over revenge. But what relationship? We never had one. I'd been chasing the ghost of a relationship that would never exist while Vanessa treated me like an inconvenient obstacle. The revenge didn't destroy a relationship. It clarified what the relationship actually was. Nothing. And once I accepted that, I was free. Free to stop trying. Free to stop hoping. Free to just exist in Marcus's life without Vanessa's approval mattering. That freedom was worth the cost. 3 years ago, something unexpected happened. Vanessa's marriage to Derek hit a rough patch. I only know because Marcus told me Derek had moved out temporarily. They were doing couples counseling. Vanessa's really struggling, Marcus said. She's been calling me a lot. She's not doing well. I'm sorry to hear that, I said. And I meant it. Not because I suddenly cared about Vanessa, I didn't, but because I'm not a monster. I don't take pleasure in her suffering when I'm not the cause of it. She asked if she and Angela could stay here for a few weeks, while they figure things out. My immediate reaction was no. Hell no. Vanessa in my house? Living here? With her daughter? Making me accommodate her presence in my own space? But I looked at Marcus's face, saw the worry, the fatherly need to help, the hope that maybe I'd be understanding. What do you want to do? I asked carefully. I want to help my daughter, but I also don't want to make you uncomfortable in your own home. If she stays here, we need ground rules. Like what? She's polite, respectful. She doesn't bring her drama into our space. She doesn't treat this like Angela's house where she gets to make demands. She's a guest. She acts like one. I can ask her to agree to that. And Marcus? The minute she crosses a line, the minute she's disrespectful or starts treating this like her domain, she leaves. Immediately. No warnings. No second chances. He nodded. Fair. Vanessa moved in 2 days later with 3-year-old Angela. She'd packed like she was staying a month. Multiple suitcases, toys, all of Angela's things. I showed her to the guest room. This is your space. Angela can sleep in here with you, or we can set up the smaller guest room as her room, whatever you prefer. Thank you, Vanessa said quietly. I appreciate this. It was the first time in 23 years she'd thanked me for anything. The first few days were tense. Vanessa stayed in her room a lot, came out for meals, was polite but minimal. Angela was shy around me at first. She'd barely met me after all, but warmed up quickly. Daddy says you're Grandpa's wife, Angela said one afternoon. That's right. Are you my grandma? I looked at Vanessa, saw her stiffen, waiting to see what I'd say. That depends on what your mom wants, I said carefully. I'm married to your grandpa, but your mom can decide what you call me. You can call her Miss Claire, Vanessa said quickly. Miss Claire, not Grandma, not even Claire. Miss Claire, like I was a teacher or stranger. Okay, Angela said cheerfully. Hi, Miss Claire. Whatever. I'd never expected to be called Grandma anyway. Vanessa stayed 3 weeks. During that time, something shifted. Not dramatically, but noticeably. She started joining us for dinner instead of eating in her room, started making conversation instead of just answering direct questions, even helped with dishes once or twice. Derek wants to work things out, she told Marcus one evening. We have another counseling session tomorrow. That's good, Marcus said. I hope it goes well. Me too. She glanced at me. I should probably start looking for my own place anyway. Can't impose on you forever. You're not imposing, Marcus said automatically. But Vanessa was looking at me. waiting to see if I'd contradict him. "You're welcome to stay as long as you need," I said, "as long as everyone's respectful." She nodded, understood the subtext. Behave and you can stay. Cross me and you're out. 2 days later, Derek came to pick up Vanessa and Angela. They were moving back home, going to work on their marriage. "Thank you for letting us stay," Vanessa said at the door, to both of us, looking at me when she said it. "Good luck," I replied. After they left, Marcus looked relieved. That went better than I expected. She was on her best behavior. Knew she couldn't afford to antagonize me while she needed something. Do you think she's changed? No. I think she was desperate and alone and had nowhere else to go. But that doesn't mean she's seen the light about me. Maybe this is a start, though. Maybe living here, seeing how you treated her and Angela with kindness. Marcus, I stopped him. Don't do this to yourself. Don't start hoping we're going to have some breakthrough. She needed help. I let her stay because you wanted to help her. That's it. It doesn't change 23 years of history. He looked disappointed, but he didn't argue. And I was right. After Vanessa moved back with Derek, we went back to our normal pattern. Occasional visits, polite distance, nothing more. The 3 weeks she'd stayed here changed nothing fundamental. She'd been grateful in the moment, but gratitude fades. Patterns remain. 2 years ago, Vanessa had a second child, another girl. They named her Lily. Marcus was there for the birth, brought me photos, told me about holding baby Lily, asked if I wanted to visit the hospital. Does Vanessa want me there? She said, "You're welcome." That's not the same as wanting me there. Claire, I'm not going where I'm not genuinely wanted. I'm done pretending courtesy invitations mean inclusion. I never met Lily in the hospital. Met her months later at a birthday party for Angela that I attended because Marcus asked me to. Vanessa handed me Lily. "Want to hold her?" I took the baby. She was beautiful, sweet, completely innocent in all this family drama. "She's lovely," I said. "Thanks." Vanessa took her back. "Angela, say hi to Miss Claire." Still, Miss Claire. 4 years after letting Vanessa live in my house. Still not Grandma. Not even Claire. Miss Claire. Whatever. I'd stopped caring what Angela called me. Last year, Derek got a big promotion. They bought a bigger house. Threw a housewarming party. Marcus got an invitation. "You and Claire are invited to celebrate with us." The first time my name had appeared on an invitation from Vanessa in 24 years. "Do you want to go?" Marcus asked. "Do you?" "I'd like to see the new house, support them, but not if you're uncomfortable." "I'll go. Be polite. Leave after an appropriate amount of time." The party was nice. Lots of people I didn't know. Derek's family, Vanessa's friends, a few people from Marcus's side I recognized. Vanessa greeted us at the door. "Dad, Claire, thanks for coming." She hugged Marcus, offered me a polite smile. Progress, I suppose. My name spoken aloud. A smile instead of coldness. She gave us a tour, showed us the girls' rooms, the renovated kitchen, the backyard. "This is beautiful," I said honestly. "You've done a great job." "Thanks. We're really happy here." Throughout the party, she didn't avoid me, didn't exclude me from conversations, treated me like a normal guest instead of an inconvenient presence. Was it warmth? No. Was it family? No. But it was civil, respectful, neutral, better than 23 years of coldness. Not what I'd once hoped for, but better than what I'd accepted. On the drive home, Marcus said, "That was nice. Vanessa seemed different with you. She was polite. More than polite, she actually included you, talked to you. Because Derek probably told her to, because they wanted our housewarming gift money and couldn't afford to be openly hostile. You're so cynical. I'm realistic. Vanessa doesn't hate me anymore, but she doesn't love me either. She's moved to indifference, which is fine. Indifference I can work with. And that's where we are now, 5 years after the dress incident, 4.5 years after the Maldives revenge, 25 years into my marriage to Marcus. Vanessa is indifferent to me. I'm indifferent to her. We're polite when necessary, avoid each other when possible, have no relationship beyond what's required by her relationship with Marcus. Her daughters call me Miss Claire. I'm not their grandmother in any meaningful sense. I'm their grandfather's wife, a peripheral figure they'll grow up barely knowing. And I'm okay with that. Because I stopped wanting more. stopped hoping for acceptance, stopped caring about being seen as family. I have Marcus. I have our life together. I have friends and work and interests that have nothing to do with Vanessa. She can keep her distance. I'll keep mine. And as long as she never crosses me again, we'll maintain this peaceful indifference. But if she ever forgets, if she ever decides to test me again, to sabotage me again, to think she can hurt me without consequence, I'll remind her. I'll remind her of the Maldives, of what happens when you cross Claire Bennett, of the power I have and the patience I don't. Because the dress was a lesson, the vacation was the teaching moment, and the lesson was, don't fuck with me. She learned it, and she hasn't forgotten, and that's all I need from her. Not love, not family, just healthy respect born from fear. My name is Claire Bennett. I'm 57 years old. 5 years ago, my stepdaughter ripped my custom dress at my 20th wedding anniversary party in front of 200 people. I canceled her dream vacation to the Maldives in retaliation, made her lose thousands of dollars, destroyed her 5th anniversary the way she destroyed my 20th. Some people think that makes me vindictive, petty, mean. I think it makes me someone who understands power, who knows how to draw boundaries, who refuses to be hurt without consequence. For 20 years, I tried patience, understanding, accommodation, and it got me nothing but coldness and rejection. One act of calculated revenge got me respect, fear, careful distance. I know which one works better. Share this if you've ever gotten revenge on someone who sabotaged you. Comment if you believe in consequences for deliberate cruelty. Subscribe to Lindsay Stories for more stories of justice served. She ripped my dress. I ruined her vacation. We're even. And she'll never cross me again. That's everything. One final truth about revenge that nobody wants to admit. Sometimes it's the only thing that works. I spent 20 years trying the right way, being patient, being kind, being understanding, giving Vanessa space, accepting her grief, never pushing, never demanding, always accommodating. And what did that get me? 20 years of rejection, coldness, being treated like I didn't matter, being excluded from family moments, being relegated to dad's wife instead of family. The polite approach didn't work. The understanding approach didn't work. The patient approach didn't work. But one act of calculated revenge, that worked. Not because it made Vanessa love me. It didn't. Not because it brought us closer. It didn't do that either. But it established something crucial. Consequences. Respect. Fear. Vanessa learned that I'm not a safe target. That hurting me comes at a cost. That I have power and I'm willing to use it. And that changed everything. Not our relationship fundamentally. We're still distant. Still cold. But the dynamic shifted. She stopped testing boundaries. Stopped pushing to see what she could get away with. Started being careful around me. That's what revenge accomplished. What 20 years of patience never could. 6 months ago, I was having coffee with a friend who knew the whole story. The dress, the Maldives, all of it. Do you ever regret it? She asked. The revenge? No. Why would I? Because it's been years. Because you could have been the bigger person. Because maybe things could have been different if you'd forgiven her. I thought about that. Really thought about it. No, I said finally. Things wouldn't have been different. Vanessa didn't rip my dress because she was having a bad day or made a mistake. She did it deliberately, cruelly, to hurt me, to show everyone that even at my own anniversary party, she had power over me. So you took that power back. Exactly. And she needed to learn that lesson. Not just for my sake, for hers too. Because if I'd let her get away with it, she'd have learned that she could cross anyone without consequence. That tears and apologies could cover deliberate cruelty. That being Dad's daughter gave her immunity. You taught her that's not true. I taught her that actions have consequences. That you can't hurt people without expecting them to hurt you back. That's an important lesson. Maybe the most important one. My friend was quiet for a moment. Then, I think most people wouldn't have had the guts to do what you did. Most people are conflict averse. They'd rather absorb hurt than risk creating more drama. And you're not like that. Not anymore. I was for 20 years, and it got me nowhere. So I changed, became someone who draws lines and defends them. Someone who refuses to be a victim. Do you think Vanessa knows how close she came to something worse? I smiled. What do you mean? I mean, you canceled a vacation, but you could have done something much worse. With your connections and knowledge of her life, you showed restraint. I showed proportionality. She destroyed something I valued. I destroyed something she valued. Equal exchange. If I'd done more, it would have been excessive, vindictive. But matching her cruelty? That's just fair. She's lucky you stopped there. She's lucky she learned the lesson. If she hadn't, if she'd kept pushing, kept testing, yes, it would have escalated. But she's smarter than that. She understood the message. And she had. In 5 years, Vanessa had never crossed me again, never tried to sabotage me, never pushed boundaries. She'd learned that I was someone to be careful with, to respect, even if from a distance. That lesson was worth every dollar of her lost vacation, worth the time and energy of planning the revenge, worth the risk of getting caught. Because now, I live in peace. Not because we love each other, but because we understand each other. She knows I won't hurt her unless provoked. I know she won't provoke me because the cost is too high. Mutual deterrence, Cold War peace. But peace, nonetheless. 3 months ago, Vanessa came over for Marcus's birthday dinner. Just family. Her, Derek, the girls. Angela and Lily were playing in the living room while we adults talked in the kitchen. "Miss Claire, can we have cookies?" Angela asked. Before I could answer, Vanessa said, "Angela, you need to ask more politely and wait for Miss Claire to offer." It was the first time I'd ever heard Vanessa correct her daughter about how she treated me. The first time she'd suggested I deserved respect. Small thing, but noticeable. Later, as they were leaving, Vanessa hung back while Derek got the girls in the car. "Thanks for having us," she said. "Of course. And thanks for being good to the girls. I know we're not close. I know I haven't made that easy. But you're always kind to Angela and Lily. I appreciate that." It was the closest thing to an acknowledgement I'd ever gotten from her. Not an apology, not acceptance of me as family, but recognition that I existed, that I treated her children well despite our history. "They're good kids," I said. "They are." She hesitated. "Look, I know things have been complicated between us for a long time, and I know I haven't always been fair to you." "No, you haven't." She flinched slightly at my directness. But I wasn't sugarcoating 25 years of rejection. I'm trying to be better about it. For the girls. And for Dad. He wants us all to get along. We do get along. We're polite, respectful, distant. That works. Is that all you want? Distance? Vanessa, I wanted to be your stepmother. Your family. For 20 years. I wanted that. And you made it clear it would never happen. So I stopped wanting it. Stopped trying. Accepted that we'd never be close. And now? Now I don't want anything from you. I'm polite because I choose to be, not because I'm hoping for acceptance. I'm kind to your daughters because they deserve kindness, not because I'm trying to earn your approval. We have a functional relationship. That's enough. She looked sad. What if I wanted more? What if I wanted to try to be better, less distant? I studied her face, trying to determine if this was genuine or manipulation. Why now? After 25 years, why would you suddenly want a relationship? Because I'm older. Because I have daughters and I think about what kind of family I want them to see. Because I've been in therapy dealing with my mother's death and realizing I took a lot of my grief out on you unfairly. Therapy, of course. Some therapist had helped her process that she'd been cruel to me, and now she wanted to make amends. "I appreciate that you're working through things," I said carefully. "But I'm not interested in being your therapy project. If you want to be less hostile, fine. But I'm not going to suddenly pretend we're close or that the past didn't happen. I'm not asking you to forget. Good, because I won't. You spent 25 years making sure I knew I wasn't family. You sabotaged my anniversary. You took every opportunity to exclude me and minimize me. I've moved past it, but I haven't forgotten it. The dress was 5 years ago. And the 20 years before it? The wedding where I sat in the 3rd row? The baby shower where I was Marcus's wife, not the grandmother? The decades of coldness and rejection? Those weren't 5 years ago. Those were constant." She couldn't argue with that. "So what do you want from me?" she asked finally. "Nothing. Be polite. Be civil. Include me when Marcus really wants you to. But don't expect warmth. Don't expect me to play happy family. And definitely don't expect me to forget what you've done. Can I at least try to be better? You can do whatever you want. But understand that better treatment now doesn't erase 25 years of bad treatment. I'll acknowledge the improvement. I won't reward it with closeness you haven't earned. She nodded slowly. Fair enough. After she left, Marcus asked what we'd talked about. She wants to have a relationship with me. Or says she does. That's wonderful. Is it? Or is it convenient? She's in therapy, feeling guilty, trying to make amends. That's about her healing, not about actually valuing me. You're so hard on her. I'm realistic about her. If she wants to be less cold, great. But I'm not going to pretend 25 years of rejection didn't happen because she's had an epiphany in therapy. What if she's genuine? Then she can prove it over time, with consistent good treatment. But Marcus, understand something. Even if she becomes warm and welcoming tomorrow, even if she starts calling me mom and includes me in everything, I'll never fully trust her. The revenge I took, the Maldives, that showed me something about myself. I'm capable of cold calculation when crossed. And that capability doesn't disappear. She knows it. I know it. And that knowledge will always be between us. He looked disturbed. You sound like you're threatening her. I'm not threatening her. I'm being honest about our dynamic. She learned that I have power and limits. I'm reminding you, and her, that those things haven't changed. She can be warmer, kinder, more inclusive, but she should never forget what happens if she crosses me. That's a harsh way to build a relationship. It's a realistic way. She's not my daughter. She's someone who's hurt me repeatedly and learned there are consequences. That's our foundation. Anything built on top of it needs to respect that foundation. Marcus didn't like it, but he didn't argue, because he knew I was right. 2 months ago, at Angela's 6th birthday party, something shifted again. Vanessa was introducing people to her family. This is my dad Marcus and his wife Claire, she said to one of Angela's friends' parents. His wife Claire. Not just Claire, not my dad and Claire. His wife, an acknowledgement of my relationship to Marcus. Progress. Later, Angela ran up to me. Miss Claire, will you play a game with us? If it's okay with your mom. Vanessa, overhearing, said, Of course it's okay. I played with Angela and her friends. Simple game, nothing significant. But Vanessa watched, and she smiled. A real smile. Appreciating me being kind to her daughter. When I returned to the adults, she said quietly, Thank you for being good to them. I told you, they're good kids. I know, but you don't have to be so good to them, given everything. And you are, anyway. I'm not punishing children for their mother's choices. I know. That says something about your character. It was the nicest thing Vanessa had said to me in 25 years. Did it change everything? No. Did it erase the past? No. Did it mean we'd suddenly be close? No. But it was something. An acknowledgement. An appreciation. A tiny crack in 25 years of ice. I don't know where it goes from here. Maybe nowhere. Maybe Vanessa's therapy epiphany fades and she returns to comfortable distance. Maybe she continues trying to be warmer. Maybe eventually we develop something resembling a real relationship. Or maybe we stay exactly where we are. Polite, distant, wary, functional. I'm okay with any of those outcomes, because I've stopped needing Vanessa's love or acceptance, stopped hoping for family connection, stopped wanting what she's never been willing to give. I have Marcus. I have my life. I have power and peace. And I have the knowledge that if anyone crosses me, Vanessa or anyone else, I'm capable of calculated, effective revenge. That knowledge changes how people treat you, makes them careful, makes them think twice before causing harm. And that's worth more than any warm, fuzzy stepfamily relationship. My name is Claire Bennett. I'm 57 years old. 25 years ago, I became a stepmother to a grieving 8-year-old who would spend the next 2.5 decades making sure I knew I wasn't family. 5 years ago, she ripped my custom dress at my anniversary party. I destroyed her vacation in retaliation. Now, we have an understanding. She doesn't cross me. I don't cross her. We're civil, distant, careful with each other. It's not what I once hoped for, but it's honest, real, sustainable. And it's built on a lesson I taught her through cold, calculated revenge. Claire Bennett is not to be fucked with. She learned that lesson. She'll never forget it. And because of that, we can coexist in peace. Not love, not family, but peace. And after 25 years of trying for more and getting nothing, peace is enough. Share this if you've ever had to teach someone not to cross you. Comment if you believe in consequences for deliberate cruelty. Subscribe to Lindsay Stories for more stories of justice served cold. My dress, her vacation, lesson learned. That's everything.